All right, so this is part two, and we have something that looks like this. And then what we're going to need to do is we're actually going to move the portrait photo above the shape layers, and we are going to duplicate that. We're going to hit Control J 2 more times. So we should have these three. We still have this one turned off, but that comes into play later, so don't worry about that now. And then from here, what we're going to do is, so we're on the top layer, we're going to hold Control, click on the thumbnail of the layer that has the outer ring, if you can see where my cursor's at, and it should make the selection. And then we are going to add a layer mask to that layer. Then what we're going to do is we are going to highlight the next layer below and do the same thing, but to the middle ring. So we're going to hold Control, click on that layer, so it makes the selection, and then we're going to hit the layer mask. Now it doesn't look like anything's happening, but it will right now. So we're going to highlight the last layer, and then we're going to hold Control and click on the thumbnail of this layer for the last one, and click on the layer mask, and now we can see that our portrait is within that target. And if after that we need to take the links off each one of those, that way we can move the portrait around. So if we make sure that you click on the actual photograph of the portrait, that thumbnail, and then you got your move tool, you can actually move each one of these around. And don't worry about like the edge of your photograph or anything. You can also make, you can hit Control T and make image smaller. Kind of free to make that look how you would want. And then from here, what we're going to do is we have our layer mask, we have our layers, we have it within that target. There is a brush set called the Xfinity brush set that should be in as one of the attachments that you can download for this assignment. So you need to download that, and then we're going to click on our brush tool. Once you've downloaded that, you are going to click on your brush tool, click up here. You'll probably see something like this. When you click on your brush tool, you're going to click on that drop-down menu, click on the little gear wheel, and we're going to go to Load Brushes. Chances are it'll be in your Downloads folder. So it may default to a different folder or something like that. You go to this PC, Downloads, or any way that you can find your Downloads folder, and then it will probably be the only one that is showing up. So then you would click on that, and you'd hit load or double click on it, and then you would see that they will show up at the very bottom. So what we're going to want to do is actually click on this one first, the 482 one, and with black on top. So we want to make sure black is on top. If it's not, hit X, and then you can actually start to click, and it will only delete on the layer. Make sure that you're on the layer mask, but it'll only delete on that layer. So that's why nothing's happening to these other ones. You can change the size of your brush with a left bracket and right bracket if you want to do that, if you want some thinner lines. You can go to the other the middle ring. Make sure that you select on that layer mask. You can kind of alternate a little bit. This is kind of how you want it to look. You can add it to the middle one too. You don't have to. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the top layer of that is actually turned on. So not this one up here, but this one right here that has the layer mask. And then we're going to go to the fill adjustment layers, and we're going to go to levels. Oh, I apologize. We're not going to levels. We're going to curve. Sorry about that. And then for RGB, we're going to want to click somewhere about right here, move it up a little bit, and then click right here, maybe bring that back down a little bit. Now this is not exact. You can adjust this, whatever kind of helps make your photograph pop a little bit. And then we're going to go to the red channel, and we're going to kind of click about right there, maybe move that down a little bit. And then go to the blue channel. We're going to maybe push that up a little bit. You can try. So this is, in a sense, kind of what it looks like. So we have the RGB, this white line right here, kind of a little S curve. The red channel, we're going to bring it down a little bit. And then the blue channel, we're going to bring it up a little bit. So we can see right here is a little snapshot of all three of the channels. After that, what you're going to do is you can go ahead and push that back in by clicking the double arrow. And then you are going to highlight the bottom photograph layer with a layer mask. And you're going to hold Control and click on the new layer icon. It should make a layer right below it. And then we are going to click on that elliptical marquee tool, hold it down. We want the rectangular one, and we're going to make a rectangular shape. We should still have black in the background, hopefully. If not, you can hit D, and then hit X, and then hit Control Backspace. Again, the shortcut to fill with your background swatch right here. Then you can hit Control D. You can add a layer mask to this layer by clicking the layer mask icon, if you can see where my cursor's at. And then we want the brush tool again. So we can click on the brush tool. And then with black on top, we want to pick some areas, kind of erase. You can mess around with the opacity too. And then we can actually click on the move tool. We can even move this around where we want. We're going to go ahead and hit Control J. So we're going to duplicate that. And then we are going to hit Control T for transform. And then we'll move this over a little bit so we can see. And then what we want to do is right click on that image, and we want to go to flip horizontal. And then right click again, and then go to flip vertical. And then you can kind of make that match up a little bit. You can add, once you have that, hit enter. You can add space in between. You can add another, layer mat or another stripe layer. So if you hit Control J, copy that one, and then you can move that one kind of wherever you want. You can flip that again. Up to you. You can you can adjust the where you want it at, if you want it above stuff, if you want it below. You can play around with that. And then from that, I mean, that's kind of, you're going to make your composition. You can always mess around with, if you click on the layer mask of one of the stripes and your photograph goes bigger than that area, you can always move that around. It does not have to be exactly perfect, like a perfect target or anything like that. You can mess around with it, make some sort of composition. And then in part 3, we will show you how to adjust for your other photographs without having to redo this whole process.